What's going on, everyone? Darkside Phil here, and I'd like to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about a game that I don't think that, even if I play it anymore, which I will, but even if I did play this game any more in depth, I don't think I could really give it a fair Hateful Truth review. And the reason is that I've never played this style of game before, ever. I actually don't really understand all the rules of the sport. I know some of them, but I don't know all of them. And I'm not, a fan. I haven't been a fan of this sport. And therefore, it would be unfair for me to say that I'm a qualified person who, could give a review to this game. For me to review this game, and of course it's FIFA 12, would be like, it would be like the example that I gave a couple months back, when that female intern who works for PlayStation Magazine, who's only like 21 years old, reviewed Duke Nukem Forever, okay? She hadn't played the original Duke Nukem when it was new. She didn't understand the humor or any of the gameplay of the original Duke Nukem, couldn't comprehend that a game in this day and age would play like a game from the 90s, even though the game was a game from the 90s. That's when it originally was being developed. It was just like, if you have no frame of reference and no understanding of what you're reviewing, you're probably not going to give it a fair score or a fair shake. And I really feel that that would probably be the problem if I tried to review FIFA 12. But what I would like to do is take this opportunity to talk a little bit about my feelings about the game, because there are people who want to know what I think about the game. And also address some of these ridiculous amounts of people who are whining and complaining and leaving stupid comments on my videos of the FIFA 12 gameplay, saying that, oh, I suck, you shouldn't play this game, stop playing it, you're making the game look bad. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is, no, I don't make FIFA 12 look bad. The people that leave those kind of comments make FIFA 12 look bad, because it makes you think that the only people that like this game are fucking pretentious assholes who don't understand that someone who's never played this game before would probably have some difficulty playing it, and probably would be a little bit confused about the control scheme, why they made the choices they did with the way that the controls are, and so on and so forth. So, I just want to say, you're the ones that make this shit look bad. I actually am having fun playing this game, and I want to talk a little bit about that, what I like about the game, and what I don't like about the game, and so on and so forth. But just know, you make your whole sport, if you're a fan of the sport, you make the whole thing look bad when you leave fucking stupid comments on videos, okay? So anyway, FIFA 12. I can tell you right now, it says right on the cover, it's the #1 selling sports franchise on the planet. Well, I believe it, and I know, because this has a very hardcore fan base, okay? And when I played Madden 12 earlier this year, I got hundreds of messages from people begging me to play FIFA 12, Phil, because you have so many international fans, and we love FIFA, and we want to see you play it. Now, the first thing I want to say is, what, honestly, did you expect was going to come out of me playing this game? Because as everyone knows, I outright admitted this up front. I've never played a soccer game before, a real simulation soccer game like this before. In fact, the last soccer game I think I played was like fucking Strikers, that was on Neo Geo on an arcade cabinet back in the 1990s. Yeah, that's how long it's been since I played a soccer game. I'm not a fan of soccer. I know it exists, obviously. You can't ignore that it exists, and it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest sport in the world. And of course I'm saying soccer, and now people are going to be flaming me because I'm not saying football. Yes, I know it's called football worldwide. But anyway, I'm not a fan of it, so I don't really know too much about the culture behind it or anything like that. I don't understand all the rules of football. I've never played a professional game of it before. Sure, I kicked the ball around when I was a kid, and we played it in school or whatever, at gym class or whatever, but we never had professional rules like, oh, offsides, or things like that. Or even the free kicks. Like, we never lined up to do the free kicks or anything like that. So, no, there's going to be aspects of the game that obviously I'm not going to understand. And so when you ask someone like me, the average Joe, I always say I consider myself the average gamer. I'm the representation of the average gamer who hasn't been playing FIFA for the past 7 years, and therefore has mastered the controls, has mastered all the little minute things in this game, and understands exactly everything about it, okay? So you have to understand, as a newcomer coming in, there's going to be difficulties, growing pains, as I learn different things about the game. And I can tell you this, since I've started playing it, already I've dramatically improved in my gameplay. I learned different ways to shoot, different ways to pass. I'm understanding how to lob the ball and such. I'm not very good at it yet, but I'm understanding these powerful of the kicks. Hell, when I started playing, all I knew how to do was go like a little ninny kick against the football, and it would barely roll into the goal. And I can't believe I even scored goals doing that. And also, I didn't even know how to throw the ball with the goalie, so the goalie was rolling the ball out every time. It was pathetic. And now I kind of understand a lot more about what's going on with the game, okay? All that being said, this game is not a game that's user-friendly, and it's not a game for a newcomer who doesn't want to put a significant amount of time into the game. It's definitely a lot more simulation style than Madden was. Absolutely. Madden, I have to say, is kind of an arcadey game when it comes down to it. Sure, you can tweak it here and there and do things that make it a little bit more serious and more of a simulation, but really it's arcade style. You can jump in to Madden, and within an hour you can learn most of the basics of the game and get pretty decent at it. Not so with FIFA. FIFA has very complicated controls to the point where there's like multiple ways to pass, to shoot, to set up plays, defense, offense, everything. There's different ways to do everything, and unless you really dig into this game, you're not going to learn how to do all that stuff. For some people, that's great. For them, they're like, wow, you know, I like football. I really wanted a game where I feel like I'm a part of a real game, and you know, I want to be able to do fancy tricks, but also really impressive things and plays. This is the game for you. But for people who just want to jump in and play a quick game of football, this is not that kind of game. It's actually going to be difficult for you to understand exactly what's going on, unless you're also playing someone who doesn't understand the game, in which case it'll just look like a mess when you're playing the game. So, what I would like to say is some of the things I really like about the game and some of the things I don't really like about the game, okay? The graphics are great, okay? And it's hard to tell because the players are fucking tiny little ants on the screen, because that's how football is played, with a camera that's way far out so you can see all the action on the field. But for what it is, there's environmental effects. The actual frames per second is very high. I have to say, it's probably not 60, but it's close to it in most cases. I remember when sports games first went 3D and jumped onto consoles like the PlayStation, hell, even the first versions on the PlayStation 2. There were massive problems with frame rate with these games, where it would look choppy because it couldn't handle all the action on the screen at once. Now, the consoles really have no problem handling having this many players on a field. So I have to say, graphically, the game is very impressive, okay? The amount of modes and content in this game is freaking overwhelming for the casual person. For me, just to find the fucking right menus to do what I wanted to do took me a couple minutes. There's so much between career mode, creating your own player, being a manager, being a player manager, doing ultimate team, playing online, just everything you can think of about football is in this game. There's simulated news stories as if it were a real year-long, you know, thing of football, and there was news coming out about people being injured and people winning games. It really is an amazing simulation of the sport. And I can understand, because of that, why the hell it is the best-selling sports franchise on the planet. This is the hardcore fan's dream, okay? When it comes to the sport of football. I wish they would do something like this for Street Fighter. Imagine if they had a Street Fighter game where there were 100 different modes, customizable things. It simulated like a year of a tournament series where there was news coming out about people winning certain tournaments, and you could, you know, pretend that you're a person in the tournament scene and you're trying to come up and coming and win the tournament matches and everything. It would be like that for Street Fighter. That would be amazing if they did something like that for Street Fighter. I don't think they ever will, because Capcom doesn't put that kind of effort into their games. Haha. But anyway, this game is, again, it's amazing. It's overwhelming to me, the amount of content in the game. So you cannot fault the game for having too much content. There's never saying that it's too much. You know what I mean? Only if the gameplay maybe were kind of shitty would I say, all right, you worked so much on so many game modes that you didn't focus on the gameplay. But the gameplay is really complex, deep, and fun, okay? This game is a shitload of fun. Just the aspect of running around on the field, passing, you know, to and fro, and then finally landing that amazing goal, or not even just that, just the excitement building up to when you finally get to take a shot at the goalie. I mean, I think that's what's really so fun about football, is all the suspense of them passing the ball and trying to get it down the field, and finally when it's there, oh, they take a shot after shot, and, you know, will the goalie stop it, or will they be able to steal the ball? And it really is pretty interesting in that aspect of the game, and it's really fun when you get into that end of the field, and all of a sudden everything ramps up to a 10, and it's just crazy action non-stop. It's exciting, and you just scream every time that you take a shot, oh, they made it, or oh my god, they blocked it, and it's really interesting, okay? I love that about this sport, I do, and I always have loved that, even though I haven't been a hardcore fan. Every time that I've ever seen a soccer game, and I said soccer again, every time that I've seen a football game, it's exciting as hell, it really is, and I like that about the game. Now, there are some things about the game that I am extremely confused about. And I have to say it's probably not the game designer's fault. Some of it is EA's fault for cutting back and being assholes in that regard. But some of it are some really odd things. So first of all, the game has no instruction booklet, okay? Just to show you, and I showed you in my release day unboxing video, you've got your online passcode, you've got a code to scan to see a video of FIFA Street coming out next year, and you've got a completely useless, generic pamphlet that explains how to get on Xbox Live and the warnings about epilepsy and your warranty. That's it. That's all you get with this game, okay? Now, they say, oh, well, that's because we put all the instructions in the game, okay? Wrong. It's a lie, okay? What they did do is they have screens that say, oh, lobbing pass is a Y, through pass is an X, or whatever. What if you don't know what that means? Then you have no fucking idea what you're doing in the game. And that is the problem with FIFA 12, is because they've taken out any kind of a really detailed tutorial aspect of the game. There is a tutorial, but the tutorial is only for defense. It tells you how to lock onto a player, follow them, tackle them, do a slide tackle, those kind of defensive maneuvers. Never once does it explain shooting. Never once does it explain any other kind of defense, such as being the goalie. It doesn't explain passing. It doesn't explain setting up plays. It doesn't explain anything. It just expects you to understand the sport. And that's disappointing, because for a game that's supposed to be a simulation, what if your whole family's into this sport and you want to really get into it, but you don't know that much about it? So you buy the game and you hope that you can learn it and get into it, but you're never going to learn. You have to go online. You have to start looking shit up on the internet. Gee, what does this mean? What does this mean? What is this technical term for this move in the game? How do you set up a play? And you have to find all this on your own. I mean, what the fuck? It's absurd. Now, I am learning a little bit because my fans are leaving comments on these videos as I upload them. So again, I have to admit I'm in a unique position where I get to learn how to play games that I'm not too acquainted with. But the common gamer is not going to have a fucking clue what they're not going to know what to do to properly play this game. And a lot of people have even said to me, well, Phil, you don't watch football, so we wouldn't expect you to know this, but really, to score in football, what you do is you kick the ball all the way to the goal, but then you wait, and you have your whole team there, and you pass amongst yourselves until finally you can kind of maneuver yourself around the goalie and around the defenders and get a goal. Well, that's all well and good, but, again, the game never explains that, never really shows you that. And for me, keep in mind with American sports such as American football, it's more about just driving to the end zone. So for me, I'm having fun just taking a guy and breaking out from the crowd of defenders and just going solo and trying to take a shot. And a lot of the times now, the goalie it's getting harder now because I'm getting further into the season. The goalie's blocking the shot repeatedly. But for me, that's exciting. That's the fun aspect. I'm sorry, and this is just my personal opinion, okay? So you don't have to take this any wrong way or whatever. But watching a game where, here's the game. Oh, he runs out, he passes to Joe, he passes to Jose, he passes to Juan, he passes to Frank, he passes to Joe, he passes to Jose, he passes to Juan, he passes to Frank, he passes it back to Joe, he passes it back to Juan, he passes it back to Frank, he passes it back, he passes it, he passes it, he passes it, he passes it, passes it, passes it, passes it, passes it, passes it, he shoots, oh, goalie stops it, ball goes the other way. Oh, we just lost 15 minutes. What? That's fun? To me, and again, this is just me, my personal opinion, that's not fun. I think that's boring. That's, and I understand why this is probably the most physically grueling sport there is, because you need such fucking stamina to do what these guys do, because that's how the game is played. You constantly just pass and pass and pass and pass and pass and run around and run back and pass and pass and pass and pass, and it takes fucking 10 minutes to set up a play, okay? I understand that, but that's not fun for a video game, you know what I mean? Unless you're really trying to simulate a professional game of football, I don't find that personally fun. For me, the fun is, oh, let's take a chance. Oh, I broke away from the defender. Oh, here we go, shoot. Oh, it's blocked her. Oh my god, he made it in. Yeah! That's the fun aspect of this game to me. And then I'm playing it wrong, then so be it, I'm playing it wrong. But that's really the kind of gameplay that I enjoy. And so playing it like that, I was having fun, and then I put it on semi-pro difficulty, it became much harder. I was still having fun, but now it seems the last game or two that I've been playing, it's almost impossible to score playing that way. So for me moving forward, yeah, I'm probably going to have to learn some of the other ways to play the game. But for me, that constant passing kind of gameplay just isn't a lot of fun. Even when it comes to basketball, American basketball, even though there's a lot of passing, you notice they're not passing endlessly, you know what I mean? You eventually take a shot. And in this case, a lot of the times you can waste an immense amount of time just trying to get down into the perfect position to take your shot, and I don't particularly find that very fun. That's just me, though. But anyway, I have to say shame on EA. And EA says, oh, well, the reason we're getting rid of instruction booklets is because we're going green. No, EA, you're not going green. You're full of shit. Because I can tell you right now, your game case doesn't have those empty holes like some of the other game cases out there, and they claim they did that because they're going green. So right off the bat, you have more plastic in your case than other games. You didn't go green. So you're lying, okay? EA just doesn't want to fucking print out booklets anymore. They want to do a cost-cutting measure to make more money. And that's pretty pathetic when you figure out this is the #1 selling football franchise and sports franchise. They've got pretty much every sports franchise in the bag between American football, baseball, NHL, you know, every sport you can think of. Plus they publish other big titles. So why the fuck do they need to cut costs? I'll tell you why. Because they're money-grubbing assholes. So don't buy into their bullshit that they're going green. They're cutting back because they want to save money, okay? And make more money. And I think the games that aren't coming out with instruction manuals are hurting because of this. Because for the common person, they want to sit down and read, okay, this is what I do when I play, okay. And this is what this is, and this is what this is. And then they sit there and they go to practice mode and they can learn it. This game doesn't give you that opportunity. It's just, okay, well you have a menu that says this is a lob pass, but what the fuck is a lob pass? You'll never figure it out unless you finally start playing the game and try to figure it out for yourself, okay? Now the other complaint that I have, and I've said this multiple times in the gameplay that I've done, and people are whining about it, I don't care, because for a common person who's just playing FIFA for the first time, this is a major problem, okay? Here's your gamepad, and the control scheme for the classic control, which is what's set by default. So I'm just going off of what the game's telling me to use as a default control scheme. The A button, when you're on defense, locks you onto your opponent, okay? So if you're trying to follow someone and defend them, hold A, and you won't have to move the fucking left thumbstick like crazy to catch up with the guy. A will just lock you on, and you'll just kind of like stay right next to him the whole time, okay? At the same time as you're holding A to lock on, B is the tackle button, where you try to push him or grab him so that he'll lose the ball and you can get the ball, okay? Here's the problem. If you get the ball, A turns into the pass button, B turns into the shoot button. And it happens instantaneously, and sometimes you won't even know you have the ball because the game doesn't say, for example, oh, possession change, and there's an icon to indicate possession change. That never happens. You just get the ball, you don't know you have possession of the ball, and if you're still holding A because that's what you were supposed to do to defend, or if you're pressing B because you're still trying to tackle the guy unaware that he's lost the ball, you will kick the ball away by accident. And numerous times, I'm talking lately, probably once every video that I've made, I do it by accident. And it's a pain in the ass because unless I really play this game for a significant amount of time, it's going to be hard for me to tell, oh, okay, I got the ball, release the buttons, don't keep holding A or pressing B anymore, which is exactly what you're supposed to do when you're on defense. Release them so that you can now take possession of the ball and don't accidentally kick it, okay? It's really fucking frustrating. Why? Why on earth would you make the two most critical buttons for defense change instantaneously without telling the player and turn into a way to completely kick the ball away and ruin the play? It makes zero sense. Zero. And I would love for anyone to justify that control scheme. There's other buttons on the fucking controller. Any other button could have been used. But for the default control scheme, the buttons change into a thing that will ruin your play if you don't realize you have the ball. And I'm not saying that, again, if you play a significant amount, and maybe if you've played previous FIFA games, and you're used to this and that you won't fuck up. Absolutely, I'm sure anyone who puts a lot of time into the game won't fuck up. But for a beginner like me who's trying to learn the game, it baffles the mind that they chose that. It just doesn't make any logical sense. And there's people who are complaining on my videos that I've said this in my videos, but it's funny because they say, well, you don't know how to play the game, you don't understand the rules, and so you're complaining about the controls and making it look bad. Your comment said nothing about the controls. You realize you didn't defend the control scheme. You just said that I'm not very good at the game and I'm new at the game. Yeah, I openly admit that. That doesn't justify that the 2 buttons fuck you over if you don't realize you have possession of the ball. The worst part about it is that the way that the actual kick mechanics work in the game, if you tap the button, you'll do a light pass or a light shot. If you just go like this, okay, that's not a tap, you held it down slightly, you'll do a medium power kick or shot. But if you hold it, you get a power shot where you like punt the fucking ball into the stratosphere and it goes and becomes a satellite for the fucking moon, okay? When you're on defense, you're holding A because that's what you're supposed to do to stay with your the guy you're defending against. So you're already holding A, and if you get the ball from him and you don't realize it, you don't release A, you immediately punt the fucking ball into the stands. So, holy fucking shit. What were they thinking? And my only thing I can think of is, it's an archaic control scheme, but they stayed with it because so many people loved FIFA and so many people love football. They all bought FIFA in the the early late 90s, early 2000s, and got used to it. And so they said, well, now people aren't complaining about it anymore, so we might as well just keep it because everyone's used to it. Doesn't make it any excuse for the reason why it was like that to begin with and why you didn't try to improve your series. I just don't get that. Now keep in mind, this is the first FIFA game I'm playing. Maybe I'm completely wrong and it was different last year, but that doesn't seem to be what people are saying in the comments on my videos. They seem to be saying there's nothing wrong with the controls and I'm just an idiot, okay? For a newcomer, that's going to be your #1 complaint about the game. You're going to accidentally start kicking the ball away like an idiot because the controls change up instantaneously when you steal the ball and the game doesn't have any indicator to tell you that you've stolen the ball. And that is so frustrating. Even in the fucking arcade games that I played, like I said, that Strikers game in the 1990s, when you stole the ball, the game said, oh, he stole the ball, and it would freeze up for a second so you know that you have possession, so you don't fuck up and do something stupid. This game doesn't do that. This game says, hey, this is a football simulator. We're going to have it extremely realistic like football. In real football, does anyone tell you that you have possession? No. Well, guess what? In real football, are you staring from the fucking sky down at ants on the fucking field trying to see if they have the ball? No. So, your logic fails, EA. Your logic fucking fails. I don't understand how you could have a control scheme like that. I just don't. It's very frustrating. And for me, when I play this game further, I'm going to have to learn. But it's very frustrating for, again, someone who is for the first time looking at this game, for the first time trying to understand what's going on, and you have something that can completely fuck up your momentum. I've had times when I was defending against the guy for 5 minutes, and then finally I get the ball, kick it right out. Oh, back to square one. Thanks a lot, EA. Thanks a lot for using your fucking heads, you know? Really dumb in my opinion. But outside of that, I think the game's a hell of a lot of fun. And I think for someone who wants to dedicate a lot of time to this game, you're going to have a shit ton of fun. For someone who's a fan of football, you're going to love this game, okay? But for the casual person to just try to jump in and play this game, you're going to have hours of frustration trying to figure out what the hell you're doing, how to effectively score, how to effectively do things in the game, learning the minute controls of which I still haven't mastered, and I played the game for about 4 or 5 hours now. I'm just learning, reading comments. Oh, didn't you know that if you hold the shoulder button and do this, it does something completely different? No! There's no tutorial! How the fuck would I know that? I played the tutorial the game gave me, which was defense only, so how else would I know how to do anything? I'm learning on the fly. So, you know, I am trying to learn these things, and I will try to get better at the game. I apologize to those who do say that it is a little frustrating watching me play. I understand, but keep in mind, that's what you expect from someone like me. I am the average gamer. I'm here to play a game, out of the box, no preparation, and show you what it's like to try to learn and play certain games, okay? That's the whole point of my videos. That's what I've always been about. I was never about being a master level. Phil, why don't you play for 4 hours offline before you start recording? That's not what I do. That's never what I've done, and I'm not going to fucking change because of whiny fanboys. And the bottom line is this. I know I'm probably running out of time. The bottom line is this. There are fanboys of this game, just like there are fanboys of Halo. fanboys of Gears of War, fanboys of Uncharted, fanboys of every IP that's like a very unique style of game, okay? And so there are people who are pissed that I'm playing this game and it's not a master level and it makes it look like the game isn't as good as it really is. And then sometimes I complain and I say, oh, these buttons really piss me off. Why do they change over? And people whine and complain, but then when it comes down to it, they can't defend their claim. Oh, you suck, you don't know what you're doing. But did you explain why these buttons could completely fuck you over when you go from defense to offense? Did you justify it? No, because you don't have any intelligent argument. You're just mad because you're a fanboy of FIFA and I'm saying something negative about the game. Deal with it. We all know that there's never been a perfect game. Every game has issues, and I'm telling you the game is fun to play, and once you finally master it, I'm sure the game is amazing. But for a common person, you're going to have frustrations trying to learn the controls of the game. So, all these fanboys who, oh, you're making our sport look bad. Get a fucking life. Go play the real sport. Stop fucking whining on my videos, alright? It's ridiculous. I'm not changing anything I've done since day one. I've always played a game from out of the box, no preparation, and I try to learn it on the fly. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it could be a little frustrating, but I've never done it any differently. And for people to say, oh, you should have invested hours, and this happened with The Witcher 2 earlier this year. Why didn't you invest an hour to read the whole instruction booklet and then go online and read all the tutorials about how to do this and that? Because that's not what I do. I just play the fucking game. The game should tell you how to play it. That's the bottom line. You shouldn't have to research for 20 hours to figure out how to fucking play a game in this day and age. It's 2011. It's not 1976, okay? You should be able to figure stuff out. And a lot of these games today just haven't adapted to that model. FIFA is probably one of them, where you have to put significant time into the game to get the maximum enjoyment out of the game. Doesn't mean it's a bad game, doesn't even mean it's not a great game, it just means it's a difficult game. And it's okay for a game to be difficult. The problem is people are misconstruing what I'm saying in my videos as this game sucks, this game is balls, this game is a 2 out of 10. No, I'm not even going to review the game because I'm not qualified to, but no, it's not 2 out of 10, it's probably a pretty decent game, and I can see as an outsider, just seeing the amount of content, game modes, the fact that the controls can be as complex as they are, the game is really solid, okay? So, enough is enough. Fanboys, stop fucking being assholes in the comments of the FIFA videos. I'm not going to put up with it anymore, and if I see any more, you are going to get blocked. I've actually been pretty lenient over the past day of what I've seen, but I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Any more FIFA videos I put up, I see this bullshit, you're going to get blocked. No one cares, alright? People just want to see the game for what it is, and that's what you're seeing when I play it. You're not seeing a master play it, you're seeing the average Joe play it. And this is my average Joe experience with FIFA. I think it's a good game. I just think the controls are a little bit difficult. I think I'll get better at it the more I play it, and so would you if you were in my shoes. Okay? So that's it. Those are my thoughts on FIFA 12, and I just wanted to get it off my chest, and I did want to let everyone know I'm not going to review the game because it's not fair for me to review the game. I'm not qualified, and you know, and just also to address all the stupid, retardedly idiotic comments I'm getting that you're a disgrace to the sport, you're making it look bad, stop playing. Shut the fuck up and get a life, seriously, because one guy is playing a game on the internet, you think that it hurts or tarnishes your sport, you're a fucking complete moron, okay? So grow up and stop leaving those kind of comments on my videos. That's all I have to say about that, alright? I'm DSP, thanks a lot, and I'll see you for more gameplay later on.